exist. I wonder what would change. I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded like dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One train over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Oh, good morning. Let's just get on into it, you guys. This is 1100 WHBI. Let's turn it all on. Hello. I'm your Sharon Wilharm, and this is one street over 1100
from my home,
Thursday.
cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like
Hi,
that
Sharon.
broken
Sharon
road
Wilharm.
without a dead end
I am
in
doing
my
great.
path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life,
We're the
there's
same
nothing
color.
certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve. Because one street over there's a life I should have known would have kept me from the one I love
At
today.
one point, I think it was kind of like on Wednesday or Thursday, I came
One
into the
street
studio.
over there's a life I could
So, it's just kind of crazy. But anyway, it's just always fun, the things that go on in the weather. If you don't like it, if you don't like the weather in Tennessee, as they say, just wait a minute and it'll be fine and it'll change. So I'm so glad I have this reoccurring guest with my United Way guys. I love Tiffany and Brian. They'll be in here at 7:30. And Tiffany, it was so funny. Last week we were all snowed in, but Tiffany just brought everybody. And we just had a big old party in here. But so they'll be in here at 7:30. But I always have that 7:30 open. And Lee Marie has just been bringing me in so many fun guests. And I love having Sharon in here because she's a woman that loves ministry. And so we have that in that kindred spirit. And she's doing radio and doing some fun things. And you guys are filmmakers and you just guys have got a cool life. And your house was on the tour, on the historic tour. I saw some images and stuff. It was just beautiful. I have tried to get to that thing every year, and there's just always something with the family going.
Well, it's a busy week. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had the tornado.
Oh, yes. They had to reschedule.
Yeah, I remember. And so, so it's just, there's always just something going on because it's just at that holiday. I want to come so bad, but your home looked beautiful.
Well, thank you. When we looked at it, we wanted an old home.
Yeah.
And we had looked at all over Middle Tennessee. We lived in Franklin, Tennessee, and had looked all over wanting a historic house. And we walked in this. We came in the back door. All we had seen was the kitchen and what used to be a porch they had filled in. And we're like, we want it. And the realtor's like, you haven't even seen the rest of it. And we're like, yeah, but we want this house. This is it.
When you know, you know.
Yeah.
There's just some things when you know, you know. And it is a beautiful home. And I know that is just so cool. I love the Danny actually, I think they're coming in next Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. because, we've got Black History Month kicking off, and they're going to do a special thing at the museum. But the work that they do to spotlight some of the things that we have here in Springfield, Robeson County, just is so wonderful. If you've not checked into the Historic Society, we'll have Danny and Janet in here next week, but you need to. And but that was really cool. So was that fun having everybody come in? I mean, how many people did you have traipse through your home that day?
It was over 600, they said. And it was crazy because I think everybody came in like a 2-hour little segment. We didn't have a whole lot at the beginning. There was like nobody near the end. But there was a time that I was trying to get to the bedroom because somebody was saying about the Fred's bathroom door was open, and I was like, oh, that's not supposed to be. It's like, we had those ugly rooms that you close the door. I couldn't get to the bedroom because there was just so many people. We were giving away our DVDs, and I had my neighbor upstairs, and she was giving them away, and she ran out, so she was trying to get a message, but she couldn't get downstairs.
I can't walk through my house. That's hysterical. That's fun, though. But we just, we have such a beautiful historic district. I'm so thankful for it, and it's just a beautiful area. And I don't know, it's just cool. I just love. How long have you guys been here?
We moved here in 2011.
Okay, so it's been a minute. Did you have to do much renovation on the home when you got it, or?
We were very fortunate. Charlotte Fleming, they had owned it before us, and they had done a fabulous job of. Especially the wallpaper. They had put in all like the period correct, beautiful wallpaper, which we would have never done, Okay. They said when they moved in, it was all blue ducks, like wallpaper was all that, that 80s, like blue and birds and stuff. But like the woodwork, from what we've heard, like nobody's ever painted, the main woodwork, and it's always just been kept up. They had carpeted the upstairs, and we took it out and refinished the wood floors. But the woodwork, I think, in that house is what's really magnificent.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. That's so cool. But that's such a gracious thing to open your home and do that, because that's a commitment. That's a lot.
It's a good excuse to get the house cleaned up and get some stuff done. But now the upstairs room, we have had this leak for up in the bedroom, like it was through a wall. Mm-hmm. And so Fred really had to take out part of the wall to figure out what was happening. And we had a new roof. We've had people working on it, could not figure it out. Finally, he's like, I'm not putting the wall back until we find out what's wrong,
Exactly.
And so there's this section of wall, and then when he was working on it, trying to figure out, part of the ceiling fell on him because it's a sloped ceiling. And so there wasn't a way to get it ready for the tour. And, it's like, okay, well, do we just close off that room? But I'm like, it's a cool room because it's a Queen Anne house, and it has all the angled walls. And I'm like, well, that seems a shame. So I'm like, you know what? This is what it's like to live in an old house. Yeah. So everybody got to see, the lath and all that.
Well, have you figured out the leak?
Yes.
Okay, what was it? I'm always curious. We were roofing contractors for 20 years, and we would get calls all the time about, our roof is leaking, and then we would get out there and like, your roof's not leaking. It's, it's a window seal. It's a piece of, it's something.
See, that's
not always
wasn't
the roof.
The roof.
Yeah.
It was, we thought it was the gutters because somebody had come and said it was the gutters that on the bottom had
flashing,
but it wasn't
like that. Okay.
It was when they put on new siding, they didn't seal it or whatever to place, and so it was going through there.
Okay. Yeah, you just never know. You just can't believe some of the things where people call us, my roof's leaking. We got there. Well, the bricks leaking, all kinds of things. It's just amazing. But we're talking with Sharon Wilharm, and Lee Marie messaged me and said, you need to have Sharon in. Okay, so are you promoting something specifically? Do you have a new thing? Because you do so many other things. I know you have the radio, the broadcast stuff, yes, which is so cool. I'm so proud of you for that. That's awesome, sister. And you have the Women of the Bible study that you do and all this. Do you have something else that you're promoting?
Well, not really. When she contacted me, not really. But now there's one thing I've done with my website. I've really been working on my website because the idea is I want anybody who's doing anything with Women of the Bible to be able to come to my website and it just be this great resource.
Oh, good.
So, I have written about and done podcasts about every woman in the Bible you could possibly say anything about. And so then I spent probably a month putting together a chart on my website that has every single woman in the Bible. I have like a little description of her so you know who she is, where she's found in the Bible, and then a link to my information on her.
That's
and that has been really cool because, now if anybody's studying women of the Bible, they can go to that. And then after that, I decided to do trivia questions. And so I now have 100 trivia questions and the answers related to women of the Bible. And like I had a woman contact me and she's like, I've been doing this women's Bible study on women of the Bible. And she's like, I've always used your stuff. And she's like, now we've got trivia questions to go with it.
How fun. Well, and I've got one of the guys, I always talk about Paul Rainey because he's always watching the show and on with me. But his wife, Mary, is in leadership with our women's ministry. And I need to point them to your stuff.
Yeah.
Because they would love this. That would be a great retreat weekend, is to take and get your book and do the study and then do the trip. I mean, it's, it's packaged right there. And then some people could go and, expound on that and continue. Now, is your stuff still on Moody? I know that
It is. I'm not creating new content, but they said, like, when I told them, I'm not going to be doing new, radio shows. I've said everything I can, in this format.
Right.
And
like, I got no other women.
Yeah.
I don't know who else you want me to come up. I remember you telling me that. They're like, have you got more stuff? It's like, I've done every single one.
But they're like, well, we'd like to re-air them for at least a year, maybe two.
Cool.
And so that's what they're doing. And I'm still, getting people from, that find it, that listen to it on Moody and reach out to me. And it's so cool. This lady in my Sunday school class, she sometimes runs into it as she's getting ready for church. And she's like, I heard you on the radio and I know you.
Oh, how cute. Isn't that fun? I love that. But, and I just love that they're still running them and they see the value in them. But I do think it's hysterical that they're like, got more?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know if you want me to, make it up, but, because there's just so many. Do you have, how many women did you do studies on? Do you have a number?
It is, it's like 100 and I know that I did like full Bible studies on a little over 100,
Okay.
But then when I did the radio, I did multiple ones on each woman, and I did some because it was only 2 minutes, so you could cover some really lesser ones with that. So it's probably about 150, I think.
That's cool. That's cool. Do you, and it's such a cool study because do you feel like you just, get a personal kind of, I don't know, they're almost like become like sisters to you in a way?
It's so funny you would say that
because I get that from some of the people I study. Like they almost seem like siblings when you dig into their story.
Well, I started it during COVID. I literally started my podcast March 2020.
Yeah.
And so there was that time period where there was nothing in the world going on except for I had my podcast. And I remember lying in bed just going, Lord, thank you for these ladies. They're my friends, because it was like reading about these women and studying them. That's what got me through COVID.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
I just, it's so funny because if people just don't, if you're not, I ran into somebody yesterday and I was talking to them and we were standing in line in Aldi's up in Madison and his name's Daniel. Pray for Daniel. And we were just talking about, oh, what a great store this is. And he was new to the area. And he was like, I just can't believe the deals. And we sat there and talked, and it's right next door to our church where I'm part of Madison Church of Christ. And I said, well, welcome to the neighborhood. I said, I'm part of the Madison Church of Christ. If you're looking for a church, I'm agnostic. And I said, well, that just means there's something. And if you're ever looking, come see us. And I thought to myself, he seemed to be a single guy on his own. And I thought, how do you do that? How do you function without a family, that spiritual family? And such a nice guy. Now, when I started inviting him to church, he kind of, you know how they do. But, I just don't know how people don't have that relationship. Because in moments, like you said, when you were in COVID and you're like, oh, what am I going to do? And then you dig into the word and you have this whole family that comes alive.
Yeah.
And there's so much about connecting with the word, with your church family, and with all these things that just get you through the stuff.
I know we had we go to First Baptist Jolton now, and we've had different preachers because our preacher retired.
Right.
And one of the guys was sharing about how he was working with this guy at Fort Campbell that had tried to kill himself.
Wow.
And so this guy was, kind of witnessing to him, and he's like, oh, I'm not interested in that. And he's like, well, you know what? Whatever you're doing is not working, so let's try something different. And he did. He ended up getting saved. But I
love it.
thought that was a cool approach, going, you know what? If it was working for you, you wouldn't be trying to kill yourself.
That's right. Isn't that the truth? Guys, I just can't say enough about this stuff. If you're just trying to find your connection to ministry, just keep looking. And ladies, man, get to know the women of the Bible. And Sharon's got a way for you to do that just brilliantly. Tell them how do they get to the website and all of that. And then I'm going to do a break and we'll come back and unpack. Because are you doing an active study right now? Can they come and study with you? Because you were.
I do at my house.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Is that something that's open to everybody? Do they need to reach out?
Well, they would, because I let everybody know, like, each week we're doing a different woman. So I just text everybody and say, this is the woman we're doing this week. And so, yeah.
What's the timeline on that? If somebody wanted to participate.
We meet the second and fourth Wednesday.
Okay.
Second and fourth Wednesday of each month.
Okay.
And so then we meet at 9:30 in the morning at my house.
So if you're somebody, 9:30 in the morning, if you're available and you want to reach out, how could they reach out and say, hey, can I be a part of your Bible study?
They can go to my website.
Okay.
And I know Sharon Wilharm, you may not be able to spell, SharonWilharm.com, but All God's Women is my podcast and all that. So allgodswomen.com, you'll get to the same place. And there's a contact form, and it has all my socials and everything. So it's pretty easy to reach out.
So Sharon Wilharm, exactly as it, common Sharon spelling, Wilharm, WIL, only one L.
Yes.
HARM. So Google SharonWilharm.com or allgodswomen.com, and you can connect with Sharon. And just wonderful stuff. Oh my gosh, you've done such a good job with that and such good work. Now, let me do my break and I'm going to come back. Now, you were saying that at the historic home tour, you were giving away DVDs. So what was that one? Was that?
Our movies that we made.
Oh, that's so cool. And let's talk about how many movies you've made. And can we get a hold of all that at the website too?
Yes. Well, we did some that were, nobody wants to see them.
Oh, come on.
They were earlier things. They were earlier attempts. And even our earliest one we have available, it's kind of like, okay, we learned a lot after this, but we do have them available on my website. We have links to everything.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. Let me go ahead and do my break. We're talking about redoing homes and doing all this kind of stuff. We're kind of in the middle of doing some things right now. Got an electrician at my house today, as a matter of fact. But we're trying to make our home more manageable with our family growing. And so we're making some changes. And I'm terrible when it comes to color and decorating. I tell people it looks like Dr. Seuss decorated my house at times. And I really like dark color. And it's, my family's been fussing at me that it's too dark. And I've been trying to do things to lighten up. And I just don't like the way it looks. I need some help. So I'm going to get in touch with Katie Myers. Katie Did It Designs. She's going to come out and she's going to help me. Now, I'm a do-it-yourselfer. So if you're somebody that's just really not wanting to go through another year of looking at your house going, I'm just not liking it. I haven't done a really good redo, decorate. I mean, I've tried, but it just don't look good. And I just need new eyes on it. So if you're a do-it-yourselfer like me, you can get Katie to come out. Now she'll do a free consultation if you want that. But no, I want her to come out and give me some advice and help me do a do-it-yourself kind of thing, package. She can do that. She can come in and tell you what she is recommending, help you with your colors and all of these kinds of things. And she can also take the things you've already got and help you repurpose those, because I don't want to buy a bunch more stuff. And, with my mom's passing, I'm trying to get rid of stuff to bring some of her stuff in. I've got like an old Chester drawers kind of thing that belonged to her grandfather, and things like that I've got to make room for. So I need help. So I'm going to reach out to Katie. She doesn't know it yet, but maybe she's hearing this. Katie Did It Designs, KatieDidItDesigns.com. You can find her on Facebook as well. Katie Did It Designs, designs with an S, Katie, Katy. And you can see before and afters if you go to social media, rooms that she did just completely transformed and just absolutely beautiful. And she told me I can still keep my dark colors, but she's going to help me figure out how to make it better. And I can't wait. I'm just can't wait to kind of see it. And I might share pictures. I don't know if I want people to see the before pictures. She said, I told her, I said, I want to see people get the reveals and how things, look, better after you've done the whole thing. She says, people don't want you to see their stuff beforehand because they don't want you to know it was their house. It's so funny. But if you really want something new for the new year, guys, get a hold of Katie. Katie Did It Designs. Katie Did It Designs. Find her on social media, find her on the web. And when you get in touch with her, let her know. I'm going to give her a call. I'll try to reach out to her today. I've been saying for several days, for a couple of weeks now, I'm going to give her a call. So I'll try to reach out to her today and set that up and start that process. And I'm super excited about it. I know you would be too. So reach out to Katie Did It Designs. Let her know I'm trying to send you. All right, we're talking with Sharon Wilharm. You need to check out SharonWilharm.com or go to All God's Women and see all the work that she's doing. But when did y'all start making film?
Well, we did our first one before we even moved to Tennessee. See, my husband, he actually majored in broadcast communications, film, and that's what he wanted to do. He assumed he was going to work in TV. Well, my husband is an introvert, and he realized pretty quickly that he didn't have the personality, he had to be kind of aggressive. So he graduated with it and then went into business for himself. When I married him, he had coin laundries. And so I knew what he had graduated in, but this was not a part of his world or anything. Mm-hmm. And then we moved to Funac Springs in Florida, a small town, bought a historic house in the downtown, fell in love with the history. And so one day he said, he's like, I'd like to make a documentary about this town. I was like, well, that's great. Have fun with that. And we don't really remember how it happened, but somehow or another, his little documentary turned into a Christian movie with me writing the script, directing the movie, and starring in it. And, at the time, it seemed like a natural because, I was writing for, the newspaper, so I wrote journalism. I had directed drama at church, and I had acted on stage. Well, I didn't even watch movies. I'm not a movie person. So I didn't have a clue what I was doing. It was so bad. No, it really was. And the funny thing is, Brittany was 5 years old at the time. Well, he's filming it. I'm directing, and I'm I'm the lead. So what do we do with Brittany? So she's just there. And so we made her my character's child and just let her do whatever. And there's one scene she's running around with a towel like she's Superman or something in the background.
What a fun family treasure. I mean, it's you're the people who come after you will be like, yeah, my great grandmother. Look at this. This is that's great.
It was cool in that we did it. It was on the history of the town, and so we incorporated them. And the idea was that I was moving into town. My mother had lived there, so I meet all these people who are telling me stories about my mother, and I'm trying to find my place, and I find my place in a little small town. And we met this woman. We were at a festival or something, and she had this beautiful Christian music. So we talked to her and asked if we could use it in our movie, and she said yes. We were so dumb, it didn't occur to us that we could cut a song. So we have 3.5 minute montages to go with the song.
We gotta use the whole thing.
Yes, and so it kind of drags.
Well, but it's a learning thing.
It really was.
But then you did that one first, and how many others have you done?
We've done 7 total. Okay. And then Fred also did the history one here, which I didn't do. So I guess he's done 8.
Yeah, and that's available at the History Museum.
It is.
Yeah, you can get it. And we did that at our birthday and the COVID year and all that was going on. And and I haven't had a chance to watch that, and I've got to sit down and watch it because I've heard it's wonderful, and it's in the time capsule.
Yeah. It was really hard trying to get it ready in time for that. But he and Danny just worked on that and did a great job.
Yeah. And it's just, we got so many cool stuff, so many cool things going on. And we've got the Wilharms, and they're fun. And if you haven't met them, make a point to get involved with her Bible study. If you're really looking for something cool. You said it was on which Wednesday?
Second and fourth
Wednesday, 9:30. Reach out to her, message her at SharonWilharm.com or go to All God's Women, and you can fill out the contact form and find out about it there and see all the different movies. Do you have a favorite movie that y'all have done?
I really like Providence, which was one of the silent movies.
Fun.
It was, the whole thing is like a long music video, but it's the story of a couple. The concept was, what if this couple was meant to be, and one or the other kept doing stuff, so they weren't where they were supposed to be to get together, and so they meet as children, and then as teenagers, their paths keep crossing. But every time you think they're going to get together, something happens, and there's a miscommunication. So it's not until they're in their 40s that they get together. But that movie, we had actors from all over the country that just, it just worked out. So they were all over. And then we got picked up by AMC Independent. And so we got to be in some of the AMC theaters. And it was a really cool program where they really worked with indie filmmakers. But they said to pick, I think it was 8 different places, theaters. We didn't have any AMC in Tennessee. So I'm asking our actors, I was like, okay, where can we, where are y'all? So we'll put them in places. And our lead actor, who wasn't even supposed to be our lead male actor, but as we had to replace at the last minute, he lived in New York City. And he's like, you need to apply to the AMC Empire at Times Square. And we're like, seriously, Rick? I don't think so. But he's like, you've got nothing else to do. Go ahead. And so we did. And they picked us up.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we found out why. Because years ago, when he and his wife moved to Manhattan, they had gone to a movie right at the beginning at that theater. And as they were coming down the escalator, he prayed, Lord, someday let me be coming down this escalator after having seen myself in a movie. He had never been in a movie at that point. He was a professional actor, but he was a stage actor. From that point on, he started doing movies. He had been in, I think, 15 or 20 movies by the time ours came along. He had been in Alone Yet Not Alone and Beyond the Mask, which were big time movies. Yeah. They didn't make it to that theater, but our little movie where he was the lead was the one that made it.
That is cool. You talk about a long answered prayer.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Mm-hmm. I love that. Oh, I got to see this now. Oh, I love it. That's so cool. But what a fun thing. I mean, I just think y'all have got just such a fun life, and we're so glad y'all are here. This is the thing. We have, we talk about how that our community's growing and stuff. Yeah, get to know some of the people coming in, because man, you just never know who you're going to meet. It's just cool stuff. And so I just encourage you just to keep on doing it, sister.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope Moody just keeps you on and just keeps, because if you got 150 of them, that can't get old.
Well, yeah.
Just keep going. That's
I've got a whole year because, I think I had 7 episodes just on Eve.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
Because I broke it down because I have her, creation, her choice, her consequences. I remember having all C's for Eve.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you've got a full 300, so they could do something different every day.
Exactly. And that's what it is, 5 days a week. And then they do repeats on the weekend.
That's wonderful.
And they air it I think 3 times every day.
That's awesome, though. Oh, I think that could just keep rolling. Absolutely. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you. That's wonderful. Way to go. Anything that we're missing, we're coming up on the bottom of the hour. I'm assuming Tiffany and Brian are coming in here. I don't see them out there, but I think they're coming on in here. But anything else that you want to cover?
Well, you know how last time I was on your show, we were talking about my book, Women of Prayer.
Yes. Okay.
Well, the coolest thing, a few days after that, I'm at H.G. Hill, checking out groceries, and I get a call from the Crossroads bookstore. And she's like, Sharon, are you home? Or she's like, I've got this gentleman here that is wanting 4 of your books, and he wants some autograph. Can you bring some? So I'm like, well, here. So I check out. I run to the house. I grab some books. I get up there, and it was a gentleman that had heard me on your show, was talking about it, and he was getting them for his wife and his, I think, sister and his next door neighbor and a Sunday school teacher, and he wanted me to autograph each one, and he was so excited. He's like, I heard you on LaVern's show, and I'm so excited I get to meet you and get these autograph books, and I just thought that was so cool.
That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that with me. I love that. And tell them, okay, so tell them the title of your books and all the different, because you've got the prayer.
It's Women of Prayer.
Book that's the newest.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then you have the All God's Women.
Well, All God's Women is just the website and the podcast and the radio show.
You had a book with that too.
Nope.
Wow, you ought to. Might as well. You've got it all. Just publish it. You never know, because some people just like that book.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, sister. I think I would if I were you. I think I'd throw that out there too. But And like I said, we're talking with Sharon and just fun stuff. And if you've got you say now you're part of the Jolton Church, you want to invite them to your church?
Well, sure. It's a very great church. Very kind people.
Mm-hmm. And it's the Jolton
First Baptist Church, Jolton.
Baptist. Mm-hmm. And again, we're talking about how that Bill Jones is on here. He's in comments and he goes, I just love Sharon. She's awesome. She just does great. He's a fan of yours.
He bought several of my books and gave them to different other women in his life.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just good stuff, guys. But we're anticipating hearing from Tiffany and Brian. I don't know. I haven't seen them out there, so we may just have to chit chat. But anyway, but if you got anything exciting coming up in this year that you're just like, okay, we've got this thing I'm going to work on, or because you guys are basically retired, but you're one of those retired couples that you.
Well, we're not making any more movies, but I am doing books, as in novels. Like that's what I've always wanted to do. So I have one novel that I wrote that is being considered by, I would say, my dream agent. She liked the concept. She asked to see more. She said she's backed up. In the meantime, I'm working on another novel. These are both about pastors' wives. They're both historical fiction.
Ooh, I like that.
And so that's the whole concept, is showing that life of church women. Because, even most Christian books, novels, church is a minor part of their life. Well, for so many women, church is a big part of their life, especially, ministry. So both of these two take place in the late 1800s, around the turn of the century. And so I'm frantically trying to get this one to enter into the American Christian Fiction Writers has a contest for unpublished novels. So I'm getting that ready.
Well, and I love the tie-in to All God's Women extends into into generation after generation after generation. Even though we're not in the text and in our structured scriptures, we're all God's women. And I love that tie-in right there for you. As you continue on that theme. That's wonderful, Sharon. I think I saw somebody come in.
Well, good.
I think I saw somebody walk by, so I guess Brian's out there. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
Anytime. Door's always open.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lee Marie, for making the phone call. Love you, sister. Thank you so much. And we'll reset and let, I think Brian's out there, and we'll let him come on in here, and we're going to talk all things United Way Bridge Builders to the nonprofit world, as we always like to say. But as we're continuing on, we want to, of course, talk about our sponsor, that Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. Love talking about them because they are old friends. They've been with us from the very beginning. And we just love them a lot. They were one of our original sponsors, have been with us all this time. And I cannot recommend them enough when it comes to the real estate community. If you need some help in the real estate community, reach out to Barry and Rebecca. Just, talk to them about, Sharon was talking about finding a historic home. You're looking for a historic home? Let them know. They handle historic properties all the time. If you go to Barry's webpage specifically, go to Barry Richards. You go to BarryRichardsExitRealty.com. You'll find Barry. His webpage actually has a tab about historic properties that they've handled. They've handled businesses. They've handled homes. They're unique because they have such a diverse background. If you come to them and say, hey, here's what I'm looking for this specifically. We had a gentleman in a few weeks ago that was looking for something because he is a musician and a filmmaker and all that, and he needed a space to work on that. And I said, well, you need to talk to Barry because that's his background. He's media marketing vice president for many years and knows all about that. So when you start talking to him and say, here's what I'm trying to do, he's going to know exactly what you're talking about, and he's not going to waste your time taking you to properties. He's not going to work for you. So with that diversity, because of those the different, all the different things that they've done over the years. Rebecca's one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist, but she came out of a different career. She was in radiology before she started, something like 18 years ago. And she says that when she came into Exit Realty, the things she loved about Exit Realty were the benefits and the opportunities and the mentorship and the just that broad span of opportunities that they gave you with Exit Realty. They'd love to mentor you into real estate if that's something you want to do. She is an agent up in White House. He is the broker here on the downtown square in Springfield. So just Google them, Rebecca Richards, Exit Realty, Barry Richards, Exit Realty, or you can just give them a call at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. They're cross-Plainians. They've been there 28 years, I think. So they specialize in Robertson County properties, but also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line. In Kentucky, you know what to do when you contact them. Let them know. Tom Pulley's in the house.
Good morning.
He finally decided to leave his house.
No, it wasn't my decision.
Well, it's like, did you stay in all 11 days?
No, I made it out Thursday morning before the ice got in because we were getting low on supplies for all the milk and what you need. And I have fought the ice and snow many times in my life. It has broken my arm. It has wrecked many of my vehicles. It wins. I've gone ahead. I've conceded. You're better.
Not messing.
You are better than me. You got me. You win. You win. I've lost that battle many times, but it was either me or my wife, and so we knew the ice was coming in. It was probably going to, because we live out in Coopertown, and we're back in where we're at is like up on a hill. So there's two hills to get out, and there's the one that gets you. You get up to a stop sign. You get up the big hill, and then you get up to a stop sign, and there's immediately a very straight shot hill right there. Mm-hmm. So you can't get up any speed to get up it because you have to stop, or you're going to run off the road. And so that's the one that gets you. So I squirreled out of that one, got to the store. I went back another way, which was a mistake. I slid all over the place, and then I come in my neighborhood, and I slid sideways all the way down the hill. And I was like, well, here it is. I'm going to put the car in the ditch because I drove the whole. I know. I walked in. I told my wife, I said, that's it. That's it. I did. I got the bread, the milk, and the cereal and stuff we needed. I was like, I am done. And so we didn't get back out till Tuesday because it was still icy.
Oh, yeah.
They just couldn't get up the hills. And then there's no stall out there where it's in the country. So it's fine. But we were a little stir crazy by the end of it. And thankfully, I have a job. I can do 90% of my work from a computer.
She works from home all the time.
Most of the time. So it wasn't a big deal. We just had two kids running around and then multiple kids in our neighborhood coming in and out eating our stuff. But other than that, it was fine. So the first few days were magical, right?
Oh, yeah.
And after that, like my daughter actually said, she's like, I am so ready for the snow to melt. And for her to say that, they were flushing ice cubes down the toilet before it got here and putting white crayons in the freezer, all that stuff they do to like try to get, they were so excited. And then by the end of it, they're like, please melt this snow away. Like, it needs to go. So it's funny, the contrast. Yeah.
I haven't seen my grandkids. I'll see them Saturday. I haven't seen them since the Sunday it happened. We were at their house and we're like, we got to get going. It's coming in. And so we were driving home as the snow was coming down.
It's beautiful.
And it was beautiful. And we got home safe and sound, and we never stopped. I mean, we've got a 4-wheel drive expedition, but it needs a wheel bearing, so we didn't dare take it out of Springfield,
right?
Because we don't want it to break down in Nashville
and you be stuck.
Right. So we had to take and we just haven't had time to fix it. So we took my one day, like Thursday last week. My husband had a doctor's appointment up in Mount Juliet, and we were just up the street from the grandkids. So we're in the Camry because the main roads were fine. Yeah. And so we're like, we'll go and see the kids. Oh, no. We went to pull into the subdivision. It was just packed ice. Yeah. And I mean, it was just, you can't go. Get out. I mean, just their like entrance. And I called my daughter-in-law and said, I'll see you when it melts.
Yeah, I can't do
it because we couldn't bring our 4-wheel drive into town. We just didn't want to take the chance. He had carpal tunnel surgery.
Okay.
And it's an easy thing for him to fix, but they don't want him working on the car right now.
You would need your hands if you had to change something.
And that happened at the same time the wheel bearing started making a racket. And it's, so you
want to be safe. You don't want to take chances. If anybody's ever had to ditch a vehicle to get home in the snow and walk, it is not. I worked in Brentwood for years and lived in the Cane Ridge, Antioch area, and on 2 separate occasions we got stuck at work. Oh yeah. And I made an Old Hickory. Anybody's driven that stretch of Old Hickory Boulevard, it's extremely hilly, and so it would look like car lots. Just and you would just walk home. I had a police officer take me home one time. Like I was walking and he was like, "What are you doing out here?" I was like, "I'm trying to get home, man. Like, like I got stuck at work."
You were probably in my traffic report.
I'm sure I was one of those people, but it wasn't by my choice. So again, the snow and ice. I'm born and raised in the South. Only place I've ever lived other than Middle Tennessee is Atlanta. So we didn't get anything there. I'm not cut for it, right? I've understood that, and I've conceded to the snow and ice. You win. You got me. You've broken my body and broken my vehicles. You win these rounds. So I try to stay in, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. But where we're at, we knew it. We moved in. We said, if it ever snows, we're never getting out of here. It's pretty, but we're never leaving. We're stranded. So
that's hysterical.
I would see trucks leave my neighborhood, and then I would listen to them, and they go, and you'd see them slide back down the hill. It's like, if he can't, this giant 4-wheel drive truck get out, then I'm stuck.
You're stuck. Yeah. It was so funny because with Mark, he is from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. If y'all don't know, he's just south of Lake Superior. I mean, just the amount of snow they get up there, and his hometown is one little spot that doesn't get quite the snow that they get right off the lake. But I mean, it's still just tons. And I remember we had just married before we had kids, and we were up there. And we'd gone skiing that day. And we were back at the house and supper was getting ready. And his mother, I mean, the snow just coming down. We had the best day skiing because it was like, I mean, it was just awesome. Just fresh powder. It was awesome. And but it was coming down really hard and it was dark. And she's like, hey, I need so-and-so to go to the store. And I'm like, we're going out in this?
Yeah, right.
We're going, they just
It's unheard
laughed
of,
at
yeah,
me. They
yeah.
just laughed at me. And they're like, take the little Southern girl with you. And
Because
show her how
you're from Kentucky. I mean, you get
2 hours from here.
you get snow, but it's not like what they.
Oh, heavens, no.
Yeah,
I
they
get the same thing we get here.
Yeah.
Typically, whatever Mayfield's getting, we get about 2 hours later, just
Right.
about the time it takes me to
Okay.
go home.
Okay.
And I can almost, I mean, very rarely do they get something we don't get, you know. And when the big tornado hit,
Yeah.
my mother was calling me going, are y'all okay?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And we got it, not
Right.
to this degree they
What
did.
they got,
but
yeah.
So I mean, we typically
Similar
get-
weather.
Yeah, very similar. So,
yeah.
yeah, and I tell everybody, I have my kiddos at school. They're like the day before. I mean, the Friday before we got out, the winds
Oh yeah, it's
canceled
bad.
most schools around
Yeah.
the area. They're like, why are we not?
Yeah.
Why are we not canceled? I said because guys, it's January,
Right.
and if with what's coming next week,
Yeah.
if that's typical of what we're going to have this winter, we only get like
It's
10 days.
My wife already looked it up. So you've used 6
We
of
got
10.
4 more.
Right. And then you got to do extra stuff, right?
You want to go to school in June?
No. Nobody
You wanna
wants
give up
that.
your spring break? I said, you better hope that, we
Right.
don't have all these days. Because
Right.
I said, we'll be going to school later than you want to go.
Right.
And, kids.
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling, and I've said this many times
Yeah.
on radio, we're going to have another one before
We,
the
we,
winter's
we
over.
I think we will. You know the old Farmer's Almanac stuff, they said how many ever fogs you get in August in the morning. Remember like that thing is how many snows you're going to get?
Yeah.
It was very foggy this August. And I remember the last time it was when my daughter was a baby and we got snowed in a bunch that winter. I remember that because she was 6 months old or whatever and we weren't going anywhere anyway. So,
How
but
old is she?
she is 10. So it's about
10-year cycle.
Yeah, it must
That's what
be.
I keep telling
The
everybody.
weather has a way, and
It's
so
10-year cycle.
and also listen to those old farmers, and
My
I was like,
daddy.
they knew that stuff. They had to know it.
Yes.
Their life depended on it.
My
So
daddy
yeah,
has told me my entire life it's
Yeah.
a 10-year cycle because everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, the winter's so severe. We're doing this. I'm just like, nope. He's it cycles around. He says you'll have like several years of just super mild, almost like
Yeah.
you never even get winter.
Right.
And then it'll start intensifying and it'll come back around. And
Yeah.
on the bottom side of that, it'll be like about 2 or 3 years of really intense winters, and then it'll start tapering back off.
Mm. believe there's something
and
to it.
Cycles around every 10 years.
Yeah.
And he told the story many times of the old farmhouse that I grew up in, that he grew up in. And he goes, I remember one New Year's, I was sitting up in the window of your old bedroom, and it was so hot outside on New Year's Eve. We had every window in the house open.
Mm-hmm. yeah,
It
yeah.
was New Year's Eve.
Right.
He goes, I've been watching this my whole life.
Yeah.
It goes, it's a 10-year cycle.
Goes.
And so many people are like, yeah, I remember 10 years ago. I'm like,
That's about right.
There you go.
Yeah, she was a
You're
baby,
ready.
and she's 10 this winter. So yeah, that's about right.
and so we could have just a lot. I mean, if the cold temperatures and that rain don't hit at the right time, we may not have
May not
more
get anything.
snow, but I think we still got a lot of cold left. So
Yeah,
have fun, y'all.
yeah. Enjoy.
Put your
Be
winter
safe.
stuff up. Yeah,
Be safe. Main thing, be
safe.
smart, be safe. Nothing's that important. Everything's all good. Just get through it healthy, and we'll live to fight another day.
And
So
check on your people that are
yeah,
alone.
yes.
I
Elderly
have
people
a
especially.
friend
Yeah.
of mine that's alone
Yeah.
and just has some. We should have checked on her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she had a tough week.
Yeah.
And and it just didn't occur to me. I
Yeah.
thought about her, but I just didn't think to call.
Right.
And I'm like, man, that ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah, check in
You
on
know?
folks. We think
Yeah.
everybody's occupied, but if
Yeah.
you live by yourself or can't get out, for an
Yeah.
extended period of time, that's tough on all of us,
Yeah.
but especially people that don't. I mean, I've got mass chaos in my house 24/7. You assume that's what everybody. It's for a lot of folks. It's real quiet that week. So yeah,
My mother, she's passed away just right after Christmas, but that was whenever we would get snowed in.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of, I hated to just think about Mama just frozen in that house all by herself. And though she was at home alone all the time too,
Mm-hmm.
but she would go out and do some things. And so that was just always hard to know that she was,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
snowed in. She's in paradise now.
Yeah, ain't no snowed in up there. Yeah, it's whatever it's 85 and sunny with a light breeze. So would be my vision of that.
Yeah.
So.
California weather. California weather. That's one thing I like about California is the weather. Oh my goodness, nobody does it better.
I told my wife, I've said it every year. I said when the kids get older and are gone, January, February, I'm not living around here. I love Tennessee. I'm gonna be a Tennessee boy my whole life. But this time of year, I could take it or leave it. I could leave it. So
well, see now, if I could, I'd go up north where Mark's from because I every now and then because we like to ski.
You like the tundra,
yeah,
the winter tundra.
We like the frozen tundra. I like it. It's just I want to be where I can go and I can clear a path and not have to walk on ice. And my husband and I both fell. Mayor Vogel did too. We were talking about that.
The ice is undefeated, man. I'm telling you.
You gotta be careful. You'll hurt yourself.
Because it's like concrete when you fall on it. It's not forgiving it.
Bruises to prove it.
So I hit it a couple times. Thankfully, I was very bundled up and had some padding on me. But literally, I was 13, I think, and we snowed out of school. Still had basketball practice, so at 7 a.m.
We did too.
This is back in the day. What would they do now? They would sue everybody in the school system. But my mom couldn't get up the hill to the old middle school. So she dropped me off, and so I was walking, and then I was sliding down the hill having fun. Like being said, it was my fault that it happened, and broke my arm on the way to basketball practice. So
that's great.
They would never even think about getting these kids out now. Yeah,
we did the same thing. We drove on treacherous roads because Coach Long said we had to practice.
As Coach Holman said, "Hey, we're undefeated this year. I don't snow.
We need to practice.
Yeah, we got run, and it's why 7 a.m. Why did we have to? Why did it have to be so early, man?
It's discipline.
We could. I know, right? Discipline. We could have had it at 9. It would have been fine. No, anyway, see what happens when Tiffany's not here. So
it was 15 minutes. We ain't done nothing.
And I know she sent me a list of stuff too. So
well, I've already done my ads, so we're good, and we can just get right into it.
Anyway.
Ron
Pulley,
we need
to catch up.
I love just catching up with him, and I mean we've all had just an interesting last week and a half.
Yes.
But again, I don't think winter's over. If you have anybody, a lot of the things that I do with ministry through Madison kind of overlap with the things you guys do with United Way. Just so thankful for the partner of Bethlehem, the Bethlehem Center that's been helping us with a homeless family. That's in the works now, and that's rolling. Cannot say enough. And Tiff, put me in touch with those folks. Just counseling and things like that help us. They've got the number that you can call, which is, what's the number that you can call?
For us?
Yeah.
Oh, you can call 615-780-2401, 615-780-2401.
What's that United Way?
Oh, 211.
211.
I thought that was my number. You call me and I'll get you in touch with somebody too. But 211 is if you're stuck and you don't know, or you're trying to aid somebody and it's like, I don't know how to help this person. That's going to put you in contact with a licensed resource specialist that knows what's available in your area too. That's very important. So if you're in the White House area or you're down in Goodlettsville or wherever you're at in the Middle Tennessee area, they're going to put you in touch with resources in that area, because we know folks are like, well, I can't drive 30. I don't have a car. You know what I mean? So you got to get something that's local. They also will drill down and figure out, why are you in this position? That's the other thing. It's not just like we're going to get you some food or shelter or some clothing for the day. Like why are you here and how can we help you move past that? So it's only as good as the data that goes in there too. So we encourage all partner agencies, if you're not in that resource database, please get in that because we want to make that available. So 211, just like 911.
We use it. We use it a lot at least I did when I was working at the Benevolent Center up in Madison. I gave that number out all the time, and that connection that United Way made for us with Bethlehem Center is just game changer for this family that we encountered the Wednesday night before the snow came in.
Oh wow! Living
on the street,
man.
3 little kids.
That's terrifying. It's like everybody's worst nightmare, like to be exposed to stuff. It's just and it's just been amazing. We just appreciate so much what y'all do. That's awesome. That's what we're here for. Wheels are turning. We're excited, and this is going to be a wonderful testimony on the other side. I just see it because they're determined to change this pattern, and Bethlehem Center is going to give them counseling, all the things they need to stay on track, man, to get the house permanent, be in a different place. That's the thing. You don't want to just take them. You can give them shelter, and we need to do that, especially when the weather has been so rough. But you want to set them up to be able to take care of themselves for years to come. You bet. And we have a program, Family Collective, that works with a lot of young families, and I saw one firsthand. And they took somebody that was basically going to be on the street, and took them. And now over a year later, they're in permanent housing. They both are employed. They're counseling on their relationship. Their children are taken care of. Like, I mean, it's just like they're night and day, and they don't even see, I think, the big picture as far as like how like much of a change it's been. You know what I mean? Like, because they think we're still kind of struggling. We're not where we want to be. But you think about a year is not a long time.
No.
You know, especially young people think it's forever, but because they're in their early 20s. But, you know, it's not in the grand scheme of things a big deal. But to go from there to here, and they couldn't have done it without them. You know what I mean? Like, with that counseling, too, is a big part of that, is to figure out why you were making some of the choices you were making that was continuing putting you in these tough positions. You know what I mean? And helping you make better choices financially, with your job situation. You know, just every day we have to make choices that are going to help keep us that much farther from the street when you're in that position. And so just a lot of great programs with that. Another one I'll say, just because it's fresh, my father's house, the work that the people put in.
On here today.
Yeah, the Mary Jane Richardson, I go to church with her. She gave us a report last night at our Wednesday meal, and just the volunteer hours, the amount of food and meals and everything that was donated last week by citizens of Robertson County trying to help folks. She said they had a volunteer from New Zealand that stayed there for I don't know how many days in a row and just spent every day there. He would come in at 11 and spend the night. He was chaperoning every night, like an angel that's been sent from New Zealand, she said, basically.
Goodness.
Like, and we need to have them in here to speak more about what they're doing. Just I think it's amazing, and I'm just going on her report. But just an amazing thing that they did, and it took all volunteers, the community, everybody to take care of folks that were in need during that time. And that would have, some people, you know, in those type of conditions, I mean, if you got health issues or whatever and you're out in that stuff, I mean, that
You'll die.
you could die. I mean, we're talking about negative temperatures at night. I mean, it's very serious. And so just huge shout out to them for the work that they did last week in really tough conditions, and kind of battling the fire marshal and some other things that they're having to deal with. And we know, but just to be, you know, the hands and feet of Jesus, basically, and take care of the least of us. And that's what they did. So we're just appreciative. Yeah.
Well, and Charlene, I haven't called you just yet because I've just been so tied up with school from when I head out of here. I'm just, because we're so behind at school. We're trying to just, you know, work just every minute trying to get caught up. But I need to get, I'll have some openings next week, Charlene. I really want to get you in here one day. So just kind of be thinking what day will work for you. So we can get an update from Charlene.
It's just amazing.
And
they got some numbers. It's incredible, like the resources that were donated from people here that just stocked them up, made sure everybody was fed. You know what I mean? Because you know, around here in the South, we'll feed you. It's like, if nothing else, it's like, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do for you. I'll bring you some food. I'm gonna make sure y'all eat.
Got a casserole.
Casserole. But just and again, it's a lot deeper than I just. But she just gave us a brief report, and I just want to it's thankful to live in a community where people step up when people need something. So we're happy that they're here and do what they do, because we see it on the United Way side. People don't realize the issue that we have with homelessness in this community, and you think like, you know, this is like a Mayberry type community. People don't have a homeless problem.
Oh, yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And it's a lot of it you don't even see. It's some couch surfing stuff going on, and living in motels, and just in your car, and you're like one step away, like one bad thing away from happening, from being right there. So it's a real issue, and we're working to. So I know it's a big deal for Tiffany, and we're working to try to make it better. But organizations like My Father's House, I don't know what we do without them, because before we had them, you know, we didn't have anything to do. We had to send them to the rescue mission in Nashville, basically. I mean, that's what happened. So anyway, thankful for them.
Absolutely. Talking with Brian Pulley. Tiffany is out today.
And I have stuff.
She's just goofing off.
She is at the chamber meeting. She had somebody. She's wheeling and dealing and doing whatever she does.
So what else have you got?
Okay.
We're done with our breaks. We've got Laundry Love this Friday.
We got Laundry Love is actually, I think. Yeah, it is this Friday. So 26th. Yep. I want to make sure I got the date right. And she wanted me to promote that. Also, I hate I was not in here last week with everything that was going on with it.
Fun.
Looked like y'all had a fun day.
Yeah.
And she wanted me we're going to have like a community day of action.
Yeah. To clean up Bransford.
February 20th.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get blessed with some good weather.
February 20th.
February 20th.
Okay.
We'll be getting details. It'll probably be an all day type event.
And that's on a Tuesday.
That's on a Tuesday. If your company is involved in getting together, we're kind of in the still finalizing some plans, and Tiffany's obviously spearheading this. But it's just, that's an easy one to wrap our hands around. We're trying to create an environment for kids to have a safe place to go play, basically, and particularly the flag football league that we're trying to partner with, but not just that, to create something that's sustainable in that area as well. And I know the community center has been discussed for years and trying to get something viable in that area. And this will be another step towards that. There's like some broken glass on the field and some fencing, and we're trying to put down some sod and just really clean up the area and make it a safe place for kids to go play, basically. So if we can't, you always don't say, what's going on with these kids? Well, some of them, they don't have an outlet. You know what I mean? I was blessed. I had a basketball court right up the street from my house. It was a city basketball court on Rudolph Street. I lived up there when I was a kid. Kept me out of trouble. You know what I mean? Yeah. And rather than run around and doing stuff we shouldn't be doing, we were playing basketball, and it gets the energy out, and you get to go get all that stuff out of you, and make some good friendships and all that stuff. And so trying to create something similar to that, and also a place for their league to be able to hold their games so the kids can go compete out there and have a good time. So February 20th.
February 20th.
And we'll be getting additional details. She'll have additional details, and I know she'll be sending stuff out, and as we figure out supplies that are needed, and we're trying to figure out some funding stuff right now too. So we're just trying to be. It's the right thing to do for our community. I mean, sometimes it's just like it's a no-brainer. It's like if we can help do that, let's do it. So
well, I'm going to mention it to our Miss Gregory, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Greenbrier, and see if maybe the FCA wanted to come in and bring.
Would be great. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I think that's field trip worthy.
Yes.
Getting the kids involved.
Get out there and clean it up.
Yeah. So I'm going to mention that to her and just see if that's something they'd want to plug into.
Yeah, that'd be great. My guess is we're going to have more help than we know what to do with. Probably. I'm going to go ahead. I'm like speaking this into existence, and I've already approached. I told Tiffany, I said we probably need to go ahead and plan a second day, so we can chop it up a little bit, so everybody has plenty. Because it's gonna take some work. Mm-hmm. There's some professional stuff that needs to happen too, like that's beyond the scope of volunteers as far as some of the repair work, but just the cleanup stuff I think we can handle as volunteers, and tap into our Rotary and Kiwanis and get our community involved in this, because every kid, deserves a decent place to go have an outlet to go play, man. It's a basic thing. You know what I mean? And I know we have some great parks in this city and in this county, and I'm very thankful for those, but that area needs some love for sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
So February 20th, put it on your calendar, and we'll keep talking and giving you more details as we get closer in. And we're going to pray for a spring-like day, because the weather can be anything.
In February
20th.
Gracious alive.
So we could have
a 65.
Now we can pray it now just to have a nice
sunny
day.
Little breeze. It would be nice. Why'd even have to come out of your hoodie around lunchtime?
I had a student yesterday. Miss Vivio, I got shorts on under my jeans. Can I leave my jeans and everything tucked up under here, and so I can, because it was warm yesterday. I'm like, whatever, as long as you're school code appropriate. I don't care.
That's why I said weather appropriate.
And shorts yesterday. I'm like, you crazy people.
I see if there's I was one of them. There's a teenage boy waiting for the bus every morning when I drive my kids to school. He's got a hoodie and a pair of basketball shorts on. It didn't matter with the weather. It could be 95 degrees. It could be 20. He has the same outfit on.
Yeah, it's
I was probably the same way. Yeah, so that was the uniform.
Got Vita going on.
Yes,
tax
Vita.
Preparedness. When does that? I guess any.
It's starting, and I don't know dates off the top of my head, but I believe they're beginning. It's something you need to be thinking about. You can get on our website on Google United Way Greater Nashville Vita, and it'll have all the location information, and you can plug in right there. They also have online options if you don't want to get out, but I do though. They're doing them at the Board of Education again, and so that is and we don't like to think about our taxes quite yet, but it's as those W-2s start rolling in this month, and you get them, and we should start having end of the month. I think
get mine.
Yeah, end of the month you should have them.
So lots of little things going on, so I get all kinds of things.
Go ahead and get your appointment in, get it done. You have a licensed tax professional that's been through the training and all that, and everybody's like, oh, mine are a mess. They're used to dealing with it. They're there to make it right. If that's what the whole purpose of the program is. If you've had some issues with your taxes or just not feel like you've got a good handle on it, that's what they're there for. And they're going to help you.
Don't let the IRS. I've had to deal with the IRS several times just for some things, and I cannot say enough about how nice they have been, how helpful they've been. I have never had a bad experience working with IRS professionals. There's so much drama around IRS. It's just part of life. And every person I've ever dealt with the IRS have been beyond professional and kind and helpful. I just can't say enough about it. So don't let that intimidate
Don't
you.
do me intimidate.
It's like, I don't know why.
And this is an IRS certified program because they love that we're doing this because it makes their life easier.
And it gets that burden off your back.
Right. We were walking around with that.
Don't let that weight you down. And people let that stuff weight them down.
And I've been there. It is intimidating, but at the same time, it's like we all have to do it, and we have to pay our taxes, and you could be missing out on several $1,000s in some cases. So you're like leaving money on the table, and that's what they're there for, is to help you find that and make sure to clear it up. You're going to feel like a different person. You have that done in behind you, and they want to help you. That's what they're there for. So
if you owe money, they're going to help you make payments.
Yeah, get it. They'll figure it out.
When they weren't pulling enough out of my check, and so I ended up having a bill at the end of last year. And I'm like, what? And so, but they're like, okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. And I'm like, yeah, I can handle that. That's no problem.
They'll lay it out for you.
Yeah, and it's just been, and we had the same situation when we closed our business back in 2009. We had something where something had gotten just kind of, I don't know, I can't remember the situation, but we ended up owing a little bit of money, worked with us, helped us get it all straightened up. I can't say enough about, don't let it intimidate you. Get the help you need. Get that off your back, man.
Don't be carrying that around. I didn't see us like giving the IRS love this morning. So that's, you never know what it's
serious.
They're like dentists. They kind of get like a bad deal.
Really
but
do.
I've worked with a few of them.
I've never had a bad.
They've helped us with some stuff. We were on a tour Tuesday, which is something we do, and it was a financial thing. And we had a couple of IRS people on there. They were super cool. They were answered a ton of questions. They just want, it makes their life easier if this stuff is done too. Like they don't want to have to do this, but we have to pay our taxes. We like where we live, right? So anyway, but
like good road.
VITA, go United Way Greater Nashville, VITA. Just Google that, and you'll follow the link, and you can set up an online appointment, or you can come in person. So a couple options.
Anything else? We're at the top of the hour.
I know. Yeah, I'm good.
Look at your list. Did you?
I think I got it. I got VITA, I got Laundry Love, and I got our Community Day of Action. Check. All good. And we got talk about snow for 15 minutes. So
there you go. Well, I think for 15 minutes. We talked about getting snowed in. That was fun. Love talking to my friend. We love just sitting around the table and talking. I appreciate you guys being a part of this. I'm having so much fun. Can you tell? Thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, Rachel Culver's in. She normally comes in on third Friday, and just anointed by God. She is a minister. I just love talking to her. I just love talking to her about faith issues, and it's always fun. Gwen Harder may walk in here too. I never know when she's going to pop in these days, but join us for Faith Friday. It'll be a good one, y'all. Don't miss it. Rachel got snowed in last week, so we had to move her slot. So she is going to be here tomorrow. Is the plan. Thank you, Brian, for joining me.
Thank you,
today.
ma'am. Good to see you.
Tiffany next week.
Yes, ma'am.
And I will talk with you guys in the morning here on 1100 WSG.